Close your eyes for an instant. Stop everything you are doing. Disconnect from the chaos, the noise, and the frantic pace of the modern world. Imagine, for a brief second, that the timeline of history is dissolving. You are no longer in the present year. You are standing upon the warm golden sands of ancient Egypt, under a sky so vast and starry it feels like the very ceiling of the universe. Before you stands a temple of black granite, its towering pillars inscribed with hieroglyphs that glow with a faint, ethereal green light. The air smells of myrrh, old parchment, and the electric scent of a storm about to break. You are at the threshold of the halls of Amenti. At the center of this sacred space sits a figure who is not merely a man, but a convergence of wisdom. Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice great. He holds in his hands not a scepter of gold, but a tablet of emerald stone, etched with the secrets that created the stars, the earth, and the very concept of abundance. He looks at you not with judgment, but with the intense, piercing gaze of a master waiting for his apprentice to awaken. Listen closely, for this is not a story. This is an initiation. You have been led to believe that wealth is a matter of luck, inheritance, or brutal labor. You have been told that power is reserved for the chosen few. These are lies woven by those who sleep. The truth, the master key that Hermes holds, is that reality is not solid. It is fluid. It is programmable. And you are not merely an observer of your life. You are its architect. This audiobook is not a collection of abstract philosophies or idle spiritual musings. We will not speak of hope. We will not speak of trying. We will speak of the code. The specific, mechanical, and immutable laws of mental alchemy that allow a human being to transmute the lead of a mediocre existence into the pure gold of absolute dominion. This is about practical application. It is about seizing the reins of the universe's machinery and steering it toward the accumulation of resources, influence, and sovereign power. If you are seeking comfort, turn back. If you are seeking a lullaby to soothe your mediocrity, leave now. But if you are ready to shatter the glass ceiling of your potential and rewrite the source code of your destiny, then you must accept the first truth. The tablet begins with a single thunderous declaration. The all is mind, the universe is mental. Understand this. Everything you see, the skyscrapers of the city, the gold in the vault, the empires of industry, the very device you are listening to, began as a thought. There is nothing in the physical world that did not first exist in the mental plane. Therefore, to master wealth, you must first master the mind. Most people are slaves to their thoughts, tossed about by the storms of emotion and circumstance. The alchemist, the master, stands firm. The master does not react to reality. The master projects reality. You are about to undergo a transformation. We are going to strip away the programming of poverty and limitation. We are going to install the software of the emperor. You will learn to command the vibrations of your environment, to utilize the rhythm of the markets and the seasons, and to transmute the energy of fear into the fuel of action. Prepare yourself. The door to the temple is open. The emerald tablet is revealed. For this first step, you must perform the decree of the mental architect. You must reclaim your status as the creator of your world. Do not merely say the words. Feel them vibrate in your chest, resonating with the ancient stone of the temple. Affirmations of the architect. I am the master of my mind, and through my mind, I rule my reality. I am the architect of abundance, and I design my life with precision and power. I command the forces of my thoughts to align with the frequency of infinite wealth. I reject the illusion of limitation. My potential is as boundless as the universe. I am the alchemist, turning every challenge into golden opportunity. Chapter 2. The Principle of the Living Mind. We have stepped through the threshold. The heavy doors of the temple have closed behind you, shutting out the noise of the profane world. You now stand in the silence of the inner sanctum. The air here is still, yet it vibrates with a low, humming energy. The sound of the universe at work. Hermes points to the first line etched into the emerald stone. The all is mind. The universe is mental. This is not a metaphor. This is the mechanics of existence. To understand the accumulation of wealth and the wielding of power, you must first understand the substance from which they are made. They are not made of paper, nor of metal, nor of digital code. They are made of mind. Consider the great empires of history. Consider the vast fortunes built by the tycoons of industry. Before the steel was forged, before the railways were laid, before the algorithms were written, where did these empires exist? They existed in the mind of the Creator. The physical manifestation, the money, the buildings, the influence, is merely the residue, the shadow cast by the intensity of the mental image. The vast majority of humanity lives in the shadow world. They believe that the physical world is the cause, and their mind is the effect. They see an empty bank account and feel poor. They see an obstacle and feel defeated. They are slaves to the reflection in the mirror, trying to change the reflection without changing the face that creates it. The alchemist operates in reverse. The alchemist knows that the mind is the cause, and the physical world is the effect. To change your financial destiny, you must stop wrestling with the shadows. You must go to the projector. You must alter the film reel within the mind. This principle dictates that your current reality is nothing more than the sum total of your past thoughts. If you are surrounded by lack, it is because you have maintained a mental atmosphere of lack. If you are surrounded by chaos, it is because your mind has been a storm of chaotic thoughts. The universe is a perfect mirror. It does not judge, it only reflects. To apply the principle of the living mind is to take absolute, terrifying responsibility for your life. It means accepting that every dollar you do not have, every opportunity you missed, and every failure you endured was born first in the fertile soil of your own consciousness. But within this responsibility lies the ultimate power. If you created the lack, you can create the abundance. The method of the alchemist is mental transmutation. Just as you can change the channel on a radio, you can change the frequency of your mind. You must begin to cultivate a wealth consciousness. This is not about wishing for money. It is about knowing money. It is about saturating your mind with the feeling, the texture, and the reality of abundance before it ever appears in your hand. When you walk down the street, do you see limitations, or do you see opportunities? When you look at a challenge, do you see a barrier, or do you see a puzzle that, once solved, yields gold? The mental state of the rich is different from the mental state of the poor, not because of the money they have, but because of how they view the world. The money follows the mind. You must become a guardian of your mental gates. Allow no thought of poverty to take root. Allow no thought of unworthiness to fester. When a thought of lack arises, you must transmute it instantly into a thought of power. This is the work of the alchemist. It is constant, it is demanding, and it is the price of dominion. As you stand before the emerald tablet, visualize your mind as a forge. The fire is your attention. The metal is your thought. You are the smith. Will you forge shackles of poverty, or will you forge the keys to a kingdom? The choice is made in every single moment of awareness. Affirmations of the living mind. I am the cause. My reality is the effect. I control the projector of my life, and I choose to project a masterpiece of abundance. I transmute all thoughts of lack into thoughts of overflowing prosperity. I possess the mind of the emperor. I see only opportunity and expansion. I am one with the universal mind, which knows no shortage and no end. Chapter 3. The Secret of Vibration and Frequency. The emerald tablet glows brighter now, illuminating the second great truth. The hieroglyphs shift and shimmer, seemingly alive. Hermes speaks the next principle. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. Look at the stone walls of the temple. They appear solid, immovable, dense. But if you were to look at them through the eyes of a god, or through the lens of a powerful microscope, you would see a very different reality. You would see billions of atoms dancing, electrons spinning at unimaginable speeds, a chaotic symphony of energy held together by vibration. There is no such thing as solid matter. There is only energy vibrating at different rates. This is the key to the vault of the universe. The difference between gold and lead, between a pauper and a king, between sickness and health, is simply a difference in vibration. Wealth is a frequency. Poverty is a frequency. Power is a high-octane vibration. Victimhood is a low, sluggish vibration. To attract wealth, you cannot simply want it. You must vibrate at the same frequency as it. This is the scientific explanation behind the law of attraction. It is not magic. It is physics, like attracts like. Two tuning forks of the same key will resonate together. If your mind is vibrating at the frequency of fear, scarcity, and worry, you are physically incapable of holding on to wealth. Even if money were given to you, it would slip through your fingers because your vibration would repel it. Imagine a radio tuner. If you want to hear a specific station, you must tune the receiver to that exact frequency. You cannot listen to 98.5 FM if your dial is set to 92.0 FM. You cannot experience the reality of a millionaire if your mental dial is set to the frequency of struggle. How do you raise your vibration? By controlling your emotional and mental states. Emotions are the feedback mechanism of your vibration. Joy, gratitude, confidence, and determination are high vibrations. Fear, anger, jealousy, and despair are low vibrations. When you wake up in the morning and immediately worry about bills, you are setting your vibration to scarcity. Throughout the day, you will attract more bills, more problems, and more reasons to worry. You are broadcasting a signal that says, "I am poor," and the universe replies, "So be it." To apply this principle, you must induce the vibration of success before the success arrives. You must walk with the posture of a king before you have the crown. You must make decisions with the confidence of a tycoon before you have the millions. You must feel the gratitude for your wealth as if it were already in the bank. This is not faking it, this is tuning it. When you enter a room, your vibration enters before you do. People can feel it. A person with a high vibration of authority and abundance commands attention without speaking. Opportunities gravitate toward them. Investors trust them. Partners seek them out. Why? Because they are broadcasting the signal of value. The Hermetic Master knows how to change his polarity and raise his vibration at will. He does not let the external world dictate his frequency. If the market crashes, the Master does not vibrate with panic. He maintains the vibration of strategy and opportunity. He stays high when the world goes low. You must become sensitive to the vibrations of your environment. Avoid people who vibrate with negativity and complaint. They are energy vampires who will lower your frequency. Surround yourself with beauty, with order, with knowledge, and with people who are playing the game at a high level. Your environment feeds your vibration. The secret is this: you do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. To have more, you must become more. You must become a vibrational match for the life you desire. Affirmations of high frequency. I am a being of high vibration, attracting power and gold effortlessly. I resonate with the frequency of success, and the world aligns with my tune. I reject the low vibrations of fear and doubt. I rise above them like a falcon. I command my energy to match the abundance I desire. I am a magnet for wealth, health, and sovereign power. Chapter 4. The Law of Correspondence. We move deeper into the mysteries. The third principle revealed by the Emerald Tablet is perhaps the most famous, yet the least understood. The inscription reads, "As above, so below, as below, so above." This is the law of correspondence. It is the master key that unlocks the relationship between the microcosm and the macrocosm, between the inner world and the outer world. It states that there is a perfect harmony and correspondence between the different planes of existence. What does this mean for the seeker of wealth? It means that your outer world, your bank account, your career, your relationships, your physical possessions, is a direct reflection of your inner world. The outer is the below, the inner is the above. If your outer world is chaotic, disorganized, and lacking, it is because your inner world is chaotic, disorganized, and lacking. You cannot fix the reflection in the mirror by scrubbing the glass. You must change the face in front of it. Many people try to change their circumstances by manipulating the external world. They work harder, they switch jobs, they manipulate others, they chase schemes. But they never change their internal landscape. They are like a man trying to change the blueprint of a house by painting the walls. The structure remains the same. To change the below, you must change the above. If you wish to see order and structure in your finances, you must cultivate order and structure in your mind.
If you wish to see generosity and flow in your income, you must cultivate a spirit of generosity and flow in your heart. This law empowers you to diagnose your own life with surgical precision. Look at your environment. Is your desk messy? Is your car filled with trash? Are your finances a tangle of unpaid debts and forgotten subscriptions? These are not isolated incidents. They are symptoms of your mental state. A cluttered mind creates a cluttered life.
A disciplined mind creates a disciplined, efficient, and profitable life. The law of correspondence also works in the realm of identity. If you view yourself as small, the world will treat you as small. If you view yourself as a victim of the economy will victimize you. But if you view yourself as a sovereign, as a creator of value, the world will reorganize itself to treat you as such. This principle also gives us the tool of modeling. If as above, so below is true, then we can look at the above, the great masters, the successful tycoons, the wise leaders, and by replicating their internal states, we can replicate their external results. This is not about copying their actions, but copying their mindset. How does a billionaire think about risk? How does an emperor think about time? Adopt their above, and you will inevitably inherit their below. You must become the king of your inner kingdom before you can become a king in the world of men. Control your thoughts, regulate your emotions, organize your knowledge. Build a temple of wealth within your soul. Construct it with pillars of discipline, walls of integrity, and a roof of vision. When the inner temple is complete, the outer temple will manifest with the certainty of gravity. There is no hiding from this law. Every aspect of your life is a confession of your inner state. If you do not like what you see, look within. The blueprint is there. Change the blueprint, and the building will follow. Affirmations of correspondence. I am the ruler of my inner world, and my outer world reflects my dominion. I create order within, and abundance manifests without. I align my inner blueprint with the architecture of greatness. I see the world not as it is, but as I am. I am the mirror of the divine, reflecting infinite possibility and wealth. Chapter 5. The Art of Polarity Transmutation. The light of the temple shifts to a dual tone, light and shadow dancing together on the ancient stone. Hermes speaks the fourth principle. Everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. This is the principle of polarity. It reveals that what we consider to be opposites are actually the same thing, just at different ends of a sliding scale. Hot and cold are not two different things. They are both temperature. The only difference is the degree of vibration. East and west are not different places. They are points on the same compass. And most importantly for us, wealth and poverty are not two different entities. They are the same energy, financial resource, manifested at different poles. Fear and courage are the same energy. Failure and success are the same path, just different directions. Why is this the greatest secret of the mental alchemist? Because if two things are the same in nature, one can be transmuted into the other. You cannot turn a rock into a thought, but you can turn heat into cold. You can turn fear into courage. You can turn poverty into wealth. This is the art of transmutation. The uninitiated are stuck at one pole. They say, I am poor, as if it were a permanent state of being, a genetic defect. The alchemist says, I am currently at the lower degree of the wealth scale, and then simply slides up the scale. How do you slide up the scale? By the power of focus and will. When you are paralyzed by the freezing cold of fear, you do not try to kill the fear. You simply raise the temperature of your mind. You focus on the outcome you desire. You focus on action. As you increase the vibration of your thoughts, the fear naturally slides up the scale and becomes excitement, and then courage. When you are in a state of financial lack, you do not focus on the lack. Focusing on the cold only makes you colder. You focus on the heat. You focus on abundance, on value creation, on the service you can render. By shifting your mental polarity, you begin to slide up the scale toward wealth. This requires immense mental discipline. It is easy to vibrate with the collective consciousness of fear and recession. It takes a master to stand in the midst of a crisis and maintain the polarity of opportunity. The alchemist uses the law of neutralization to master polarity. When the pendulum of emotion swings toward the negative, the alchemist refuses to identify with it. He observes it. He says, "This is a low vibration," and then deliberately invokes the opposite thought. If he feels hate, he focuses on understanding. If he feels sloth, he forces a small action to ignite the fire of industry. You must learn to recognize the poles in every situation. In every failure, there is the seed of success. It is the same energy, just misdirected. In every loss, there is the potential for gain. Do not be fooled by the mask of the negative pole. It is just energy waiting to be transmuted. You are the slider on the scale. You determine where you sit. Do not let circumstances slide you down to the freezing point of poverty. Grip the controls of your mind and push the lever up toward the golden heat of abundance. Affirmations of transmutation. I am the master of the scale. I choose the pole of power. I transmute fear into courage and lack into abundance by the power of my will. I see the potential for gold in every situation, no matter how dark. I am rising in frequency, sliding ever upward toward the zenith of success. I command my emotions to serve me, not to rule me. Chapter 6. The Rhythm of Universal Power. The temple seems to breathe. The light pulses, bright, then dim, bright, then dim. The sound of the cosmos is a rhythmic beat, like a great heart. Hermes declares the fifth principle. Everything flows, out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. This is the principle of rhythm. The universe operates in cycles. The tides come in, the tides go out. The sun rises, the sun sets. Economies boom, economies bust. Empires rise, empires fall. This is the heartbeat of creation. The novice is destroyed by rhythm. When the tide goes out, when business slows, when the market drops, when energy is low, the novice panics. They believe the world is ending. They sell at the bottom. They despair in the winter. The master utilizes rhythm. The master knows that the retreat of the tide is merely the preparation for the surge. The master knows that winter is not the death of the earth, but its rest before the explosion of spring. To master wealth, you must synchronize with the rhythm of reality. You cannot be in a state of manic expansion 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. That is not natural, and it leads to burnout and collapse. There are times to plant, investment, times to wait, gestation, and times to harvest, profit. When you are in a downswing, do not struggle against it. Do not waste your energy trying to hold back the tide. Instead, use that time for introspection, for planning, for sharpening your sword. This is the time to build the internal structures that will support the next upswing. Hermes teaches us the law of neutralization to escape the negative effects of rhythm. You cannot stop the pendulum from swinging back, but you can choose to rise above the plane where the pendulum swings. Imagine the pendulum swinging at the physical level. If you elevate your consciousness to the mental plane, you are no longer hit by the swing. This means that when your external circumstances take a downturn, you do not let your internal state crash with them. You remain poised, detached, and observant. You say, "The tide is going out," but you do not say, "I am drowning." You maintain your confidence and your vision regardless of the seasonal shifts of the economy. Furthermore, understand the compensatory swing. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. This means that a great failure is often the precursor to a massive success, if you can ride the rhythm back. The further back the arrow is pulled, the further forward it will fly. The depth of your struggle creates the capacity for the height of your victory. Do not fear the recessions. Do not fear the quiet periods. They are gathering momentum for the next wave. The surfer does not paddle frantically when the ocean is flat. He waits, conserving his strength, watching the horizon. And when the wave comes, the upswing, he is ready to ride it to glory. You must become a rhythmic creature. Work hard, then rest deeply. Save aggressively, then spend strategically. Push forward with intensity, then pull back to assess. By aligning with the cosmic breath, you gain the momentum of the universe itself. Affirmations of rhythm. I am in harmony with the tides of the universe, and I ride them to success. I stand firm when the pendulum swings. My inner peace is unshakable. I know that every low tide is the promise of a high tide to come. I use the times of rest to sharpen my blade for the times of conquest. I am the master of timing, acting with precision and grace. Chapter 7. The Decree of Cause and Effect. The walls of the temple are now etched with complex geometrical patterns, lines connecting points in an infinite web. Hermes speaks the sixth principle, the law of iron. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. This is the death of luck. This is the death of accident. This is the death of fate as a random cruelty. The principle of cause and effect states that we live in a cosmos of order, not chaos. Nothing happens by chance. If you are wealthy, there is a cause. If you are poor, there is a cause. Most people are effects. They are the result of their environment, their upbringing, the opinions of others, and the whims of the economy. They are pawns on the chessboard, moved by forces they do not understand. They complain about their situation, blaming the government, their boss, or their bad luck. They do not realize that they are merely receiving the output of a mathematical equation they unknowingly wrote. The Hermetic master is a causator. The master refuses to be a pawn. The master rises to become the player. To attain wealth, you must stop reacting to effects and start initiating causes. If you want a specific effect, say $1 million, you must study the causes that produce that effect. It is not a lottery, it is a recipe. If you combine value, leverage, demand, and execution, the inevitable effect is financial reward. It is a law as consistent as gravity. If you drop a stone, it falls. If you provide massive value to the marketplace, you receive money. The problem is that most people engage in magical thinking. They want the effect, wealth, without the cause, work, risk, discipline. They pray for the harvest but refuse to plant the seeds. You must become a forensic analyst of your own life. Look at your failures. Do not judge them. Analyze them. Trace the thread back from the effect, the failure, to the cause, the decision, the habit, the ignorance. Once you identify the cause, you can change it. This law empowers you to predict the future. If you know the causes you are setting in motion today, you know the effects you will reap tomorrow. If you are spending your time on entertainment and distraction, cause, the effect will be mediocrity and stagnation. If you are investing your time in learning, building, and networking, cause, the effect will be growth and opportunity. There is no escape. The law sees all. You cannot cheat the equation, but this is good news. It means the system is fair. It means that if you do the work, if you align with the law, the result is guaranteed. Stop waiting for a lucky break. Stop waiting for a savior. You are the cause. You are the origin point. Set in motion the waves of action that will crash upon the shores of your future as waves of gold. Affirmations of the causator. I am the cause. I do not wait for luck. I initiate the actions that lead inevitably to my success. I accept responsibility for every result in my life, and I have the power to change them. I plant seeds of greatness, knowing the harvest is guaranteed by law. I am the player, not the pawn, the hammer, not the anvil. Chapter 8. The Gender of Creation. The final principle etched into the emerald tablet deals with the mechanism of creation itself. Hermes speaks. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. This is not merely about physical sex. This is about the two great energies of the universe, the masculine, projective, active, will, and the feminine, receptive, creative, subconscious. In the pursuit of wealth, you must understand how these two energies interact within your own mind to generate reality. The conscious mind is the masculine aspect. It wills, it decides, it focuses. It is the seed. The subconscious mind is the feminine aspect. It receives, it nurtures, it brings forth. It is the womb. Creation, whether of a child, a business, or a fortune, requires the union of these two forces. Many people have a strong masculine will. They want money. They decide to be rich. But their subconscious, the feminine, is filled with weeds, beliefs of unworthiness, fear, and limitation. The seed falls on barren ground. Nothing is born. Others are all feminine. They are dreamers, constantly visualizing, feeling, and waiting. But they lack the masculine drive of action and will. The womb is fertile, but there is no seed. Nothing is born. The mental alchemist practices the mystical marriage. He uses his conscious will, masculine, to impregnate his subconscious mind, feminine, with the clear, definite image of his desire. He plants the seed of wealth deep into the soil of his psyche. He protects it. And then the subconscious mind, which has access to the infinite intelligence of the universe, begins to gestate that idea. It brings forth opportunities, hunches, and coincidences. You must balance these energies. You must be aggressive in your action, masculine, but intuitive in your strategy, feminine. You must be rigid in your discipline, masculine, but flexible in your approach, feminine. Look at the structure of a corporation. It needs the masculine drive of sales and execution, but it also needs the feminine nurturing of culture and creativity. Without one, the other fails. In your own mind, treat your subconscious as a precious garden. Do not let the masculine logic of the world, the cynicism, the doubt, trample your creative soil. And do not let your feminine emotions run wild without the guidance of your will. When the will and the imagination are united, they create a child. That child is your destiny. That child is your empire. Affirmations of generation. I unite my will and my imagination to create a new reality. I am both the seed and the soil. I am the creator complete. I balance action with intuition, force with flow. I impregnate my mind with the vision of absolute wealth. I am the master of creation, bringing forth gold from the ether. Chapter 9. The Alchemy of Desire. We have studied the 7 principles. Now we move to the practical application of these codes. The first step in the alchemical process of wealth creation is the purification of desire. The uninitiated misunderstand desire. They think it is a sin or a weakness or a source of suffering. Hermes teaches that desire is the engine of the universe. It is the force that pulls the unmanifest into the manifest. Without desire, the universe would be a static, dead void. But there is a difference between wishing and alchemical desire. Wishing is weak. It is passive. It says, I hope this happens. Alchemical desire is a hunger. It is a burning fire that consumes all doubt. It is the specific, intense focus of the will upon a single point. To turn lead into gold, you must first heat the crucible. Your desire is the heat. If your desire is lukewarm, your results will be lukewarm. You cannot build an empire on "it would be nice." You can only build an empire on "I must." You must define exactly what you want. The universe cannot answer a vague request. I want to be rich is noise. I command a net worth of $10 million by the turning of the decade is a signal. Precision is the language of the mental architect. Write down your desire. Etch it into physical reality. By writing it, you are taking it from the air, mind, and bringing it into the earth, matter. This is the first step of precipitation. But here is the secret. You must detach from the how and focus on the what. The how is the domain of the infinite intelligence. the law of cause and effect. Your job is to hold the image of the what with such intensity that the universe is forced to rearrange itself to accommodate you. Guard your desire. Do not scatter your energy on 1,000 different trifles. The sun's rays can warm the earth, but if you focus them through a magnifying glass, they can start a fire. Be the magnifying glass. Focus all your emotional intensity on your primary aim. Affirmations of burning desire. I possess a burning desire that fuels my every action. I am clear, specific, and unwavering in my demand of life. I channel the fire of my passion into the construction of my empire. I do not wish, I command. I am the focal point of power, and my desire is the laser of creation. Chapter 10. The Dominion of Silence. In the ancient mystery schools, the neophyte was often sworn to silence for years before being allowed to speak. This was not a punishment. It was a method of power accumulation. Hermes teaches the power of the closed lip. When you speak about your plans, your goals, and your desires to the profane world, you are leaking energy. You are dissipating the pressure that is needed to drive the engine of manifestation. Talking is the enemy of doing. When you tell everyone, I'm going to start a business, your brain releases dopamine. You get the reward of the accomplishment without having done the work. You feel satisfied and your drive diminishes. Furthermore, when you speak your dreams to small minds, they will attack them with doubt, ridicule, and logic. These are vibrations that contaminate your mental laboratory. They introduce impurities into your gold. The alchemist works in the shadows. He builds in silence. He lets his results speak for him. There is a terrifying power in the man who moves in silence. He is unpredictable. He is contained. He is formidable. Keep your counsel. Share your vision only with those who are in vibrational harmony with you, your mastermind. For everyone else, offer only silence or the necessary pleasantries. Let them underestimate you. Let them think you are sleeping. While they talk, you build. Silence also allows you to hear the voice of intuition. The universe is constantly sending you signals, codes, and instructions, but you cannot hear them over the sound of your own voice. Practice the discipline of silence. Contain your energy. Let the pressure build within you until it explodes, not in words, but in massive, undeniable action. Affirmations of sacred silence. I build in silence. My results are my only voice. I contain my power, letting it build into an irresistible force. I am immune to the doubts of others because they do not know my plans. I listen more than I speak, gaining wisdom from the silence. I am the keeper of the secret fire. Chapter 11. The Golden Key of Focus. The modern world is a war on your attention. Every app, every notification, every advertisement is a weapon designed to steal the most precious resource you possess, your focus. In Hermetic terms, attention is the philosopher's stone. It is the substance that turns whatever it touches into gold. Whatever you pay attention to grows. If you pay attention to problems, they multiply. If you pay attention to distractions, your potential withers. But if you pay sustained laser-like attention to your vision of wealth, it must by law expand. The alchemist practices mental monogamy. He is married to his mission. He does not flirt with every new shiny object. He has the ability to exclude all outside impressions and fix his mind on a single object or idea. This is hard work. The mind is a restless monkey. It wants to jump from branch to branch. You must train it to sit still. You must train it to hunt. When you work, do not multitask. Multitasking is the poverty of attention. Do one thing with absolute intensity. Pour your entire being into the task at hand. When you write an email, be the email. When you analyze a deal, be the deal. This intensity of focus creates a mental magnetism. It charges the object of your attention with energy. It creates a gravitational field that pulls resources toward it. Reclaim your attention. Turn off the noise. Create periods of deep work. Your capacity to focus is directly proportional to your bank account. The distracted are the food of the focused. Be the predator, not the prey. Affirmations of absolute focus. I control the beam of my attention, directing it only toward my growth. I reject distraction. I am immune to the noise of the world. I am a master of deep, sustained concentration. I feed my goals with the golden energy of my focus. I am present, powerful, and precise. Chapter 12. The Transmutation of Fear into Gold. Fear is the guardian of the treasure. In every myth, the dragon guards the gold. The dragon is fear. The hero must face the dragon to get the gold. Most people stop at the dragon. They feel the fear and interpret it as a stop sign. The alchemist interprets fear as a go sign. Fear indicates that you are approaching the boundary of your comfort zone, and wealth lies outside that zone. You cannot eliminate fear. Fear is a biological response, but you can transmute it. Remember the principle of polarity? Fear is just energy. It is high vibration energy. It is adrenaline. It is alertness. When you feel fear, do not contract, expand. Label the feeling not as anxiety, but as excitement. Label it as power. The physical sensations are almost identical. The racing heart, the sweating palms. This is your body preparing for greatness. Do not wait for the fear to leave before you act. Act with the fear. Action is the alchemical agent that dissolves fear. The moment you take the first step, the dragon vanishes, and the path to the gold is revealed. The greatest fear is usually the fear of failure or the fear of judgment. These are illusions. Failure is merely data, feedback on how to adjust your approach. Judgment is merely the noise of the spectators in the cheap seats. The man in the arena has no time for the opinions of those who do not bleed. Use your fear. Let it sharpen your senses. Let it make you check your work twice. Let it drive you to prepare harder, but never ever let it stop you. Affirmations of courage. I use fear as fuel for my ascent. I am the master of my emotions, transmuting anxiety into power. I act in spite of fear, for I am a warrior of the light. I see the dragon as a signpost to the treasure. I am bold, daring, and relentlessly moving forward. Chapter 13. The Mirror of Reality. You are living in a house of mirrors. Everywhere you look, you see reflections of yourself. The people you meet, the way you are treated, the opportunities that come your way. They are all reflecting your own vibration back to you. If you hate your boss, you are seeing a reflection of your own resentment to authority or your own lack of autonomy. If you are cheated, you are seeing a reflection of your own inner dishonesty or naivety. This is a hard pill to swallow. The ego wants to blame the mirror. It wants to smash the mirror. But the alchemist bows to the mirror, for it tells the truth. Use the world as a diagnostic tool. When you encounter resistance in the world, ask yourself, where is the resistance in me? When you encounter lack in the world, ask, where am I holding on to lack in my mind? By cleaning the source image, your own self-concept, you clean the reflection. If you walk through the world with love, authority, and generosity, the mirrors will align to show you a world of love, authority, and generosity. This also applies to how you treat money. If you resent rich people, the mirror says, you resent wealth. Therefore, wealth will stay away from you. You must bless that which you want. If you see a luxury car, do not envy the driver. Bless him. Say, that is evidence that abundance is possible. By blessing it, you tell your subconscious, I like this. Bring me this. Make friends with the mirror. Smile at it, and it has no choice but to smile back. Affirmations of the mirror. I accept the world as a reflection of my own state. I purify my heart and mind so that the world reflects beauty and wealth. I bless abundance wherever I see it, claiming it as my own. I take responsibility for the images I project. I am the origin of my universe. Chapter 14. The Sovereign Will. The will is the scepter of the king. It is the directive power of the mind. It is not force or strain. It is a quiet, unyielding determination. The weak-willed man is a leaf in the wind. He starts a diet and quits in 3 days. He starts a business and quits when it gets hard. He has no dominion. The sovereign will is the ability to give yourself a command and follow it, no matter what. It is the ability to override the impulses of the body, laziness, hunger, lust, and the impulses of the emotions, fear, boredom. To build wealth, you must forge a will of iron. You must become a person who does what they say they will do. If you tell yourself you will wake up at 5 a.m. and you hit snooze, you have weakened your will. You have betrayed your own authority. Start small. Keep small promises to yourself. Exercise your will like a muscle. Deny yourself small comforts to prove that you are in charge, not your body. When your will is strong, the universe bends. Obstacles melt away. People sense your resolve and get out of your way, or join you. The sovereign will is the force that cuts through the chaos of probability and carves a straight path to destiny. You are the emperor. Your will is the law. Enforce it. Affirmations of sovereignty. I possess a will of iron, unbending and unbreakable. I keep my promises to myself. My word is law. I am the commander of my body, my mind, and my emotions. I persist when others quit. I endure when others fade. I am the sovereign of my destiny. Chapter 15. The final magnum opus. We stand now at the end of the journey, back in the silence of the temple. The emerald tablet fades, its light absorbed into your very being. You are no longer the same person who entered Chapter 1. You have been initiated into the Code of Hermes. But knowledge is potential power. It only becomes real power through the great work, the magnum opus. In alchemy, this was the final process of creating the philosopher's stone. For you, the great work is the creation of your ideal life. It is the daily, hourly application of these principles. It is not a one-time event. It is a lifestyle. It is waking up every day and consciously choosing your mental state, mentalism. It is managing your energy, vibration. It is seeing the connections, correspondence. It is transmuting the negative, polarity. It is riding the waves, rhythm. It is taking responsibility, cause and effect. It is creating value, gender. You are the alchemist. Your life is the laboratory. Your challenges are the lead. Your wisdom is the fire. Your wealth is the gold. Do not go back to sleep. Do not let the noise of the world drown out the truth you have found here. Carry the silence of the temple within you. Walk the streets of the modern world with the wisdom of the ancients. You have the keys. The doors are unlocked. The empire awaits. Go forth and build it. Final affirmations of the Master. I am the alchemist of my life. I walk in the light of ancient wisdom and modern power. I am destined for greatness, and I claim my heritage now. I am wealth. I am power. I am freedom. It is done.